Welcome to Chris's Storytelling Corner. Hey, this is Christopher Moldong, an author. We're going to look into Yuki Holder volumes 4 to 6. Next week, reviews for volumes 7 to 9. Also, check out my reading of The Frog of the Crown, pages 1 to 3, and my list for the top 5 cockiest male characters of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can check out my author's website at www.chrismoldon.com. You can buy my first novel, a fantasy adventure called The Mustard Prince in the Condiment Kingdom, for $4.99. Also, for $2.99, you can buy my short story collection, which is a collection of 10 short stories into horror, fantasy, and realistic fiction genres. Check out my Twitter page and author's Facebook page. Links to all these will be provided on the description. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel if you're on YouTube, or follow, share, and comment on this channel if you're listening to this on SoundCloud. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, please rate, review, and share this channel. So, the way that this is going to work is I will do a review, like a pretty detailed recap of a volume, start with volume 4, and then after that volume, I will give my personal thoughts on said volume. Also, there's just going to have heavy spoilers. So, let's just get right to it. In Volume 4, the volume begins with Ikki, Jinbei, and Gengaro defeating a bunch of military troops. Jinbei and Negima seem to know each other. They fight each other, and Jinbei gets the better of him. Negima reveals that his target is Tota, but someone throws Tota the gravity blade and makes it 10,000-fold and defeats Negima. It turned out that Ruki and some slum kids threw the sword at Tota. A drone is shown watching the screen. We're then shown Fate Avarunkus, who says, "There's no mistaking it. That's him." If you don't know who Fate Avarunkus is, read Negima. Karamaru and one of the Yuki Holder bodyguards help the people in the slums evacuate from the fire. Evangeline appears and frees the whole town. Evangeline calls Tota and Karamaru over. They meet with Gengaro, Ikki, and Jinbei. Gengaro tells Tota that the mission was a success, and for their work, they each received 2 million yen. Tota is told that to go up to the orbital elevator, it costs 4.2 million yen. They are then told that the cost of the property damage to like the slums and whatnot is 20 million yen, but there are no charges against Kuramaru. Tota and Kuramaru say goodbye to the slum kids and then leave. The next day, as Tota and Kuramaru cleaned in, they run into Basago, Ikki, and a girl named Kirie, or they just call her Kirie-sama, who hides behind Ikki. Basago tells them that Kirie Sakurame is Yuki Holder's number 9, the longtime resident of the inn's penthouse suite, the greatest contributor to Yuki Holder's funds, and their most important client. Tota introduces himself to her, but she hides behind Ikki. Ikki tells Tota that they're on their way to the tower and asks if he wants to come with them. He agrees. They get on a boat, but before they get on, Tota sees Kirie doing something with the ground. Tota asks Kirie what it is, and she says that it's a save point. On the boat, Tota asks what immortality Ikki has. He says that he's all machine, tells him that he's really 85 years old, but also 13. He fell into a coma when he was 13 and was in a hospital bed for 72 years. He got his new body, and Yukihime took him into Yuki Holder. They reach the base of the tower. Ikki and Karamaru go to fill out paperwork while Tota is told to take care of Kirie. She points out a direction and goes off alone, with Tota following. At an alleyway, she says that she finally has him all to herself and calls him Mr. Incompetent. She then gets very mean with him and tries to step on his face. Kirie claims that Tota failed to protect her 6 times already. As she tries to explain, something cuts her neck, As she's lying down dying, she tells Tota to take her hand, and he does. She says that will do it. They then reappear unscathed at the save point, and they seem to be at the time when they are about to leave by the boat to the tower. Kyrie reveals that they just went back a little. She tells her that her immortal ability is reset and restart. On the boat, Kyrie explains to Tota that they went back in time and reveals that it's not magic and that no one can learn this power. She explains to them what a save point is. As long as a fire is burning at a save point, her power is in effect. The rules are that she makes a save point. If she dies, then she automatically goes back to that point in time. Tells her Tota that dying really hurts, and she gets mad at Tota. They repeat the day, and Kyrie tells him to act as much like he did the first time around. She then explains a butterfly effect can be made if things change. Tota has a very hard time with it, though. So back at the hub, Kyrie tells Tota that she has a goal, needs to be at a certain place at 1300 and 9 is it seconds or minutes? But anyways, Kyrie explains to Tota that he kept running off and left her to die on the ground, which is why she couldn't take him with him the other time she died. When she grabbed his arm, she was able to take him with her. She explains that a certain man is coming back to Earth alone for the first time in 30 years at Gate 3. This certain man is their true enemy. She tells him that Yuki Holder's real enemy is the man who was once a rival, comrade, and sworn friend of Negi Springfield. He is the greatest wizard in the solar system, Fate Avarunkus. Fate gets a call that the boy that he told them about has been sighted traveling by sea. Kyrie tells Tota that they have to find the assassin, and as she says that, Chao Xingxie appears behind her from the earlier Voumes. He is part of the group that was attacking the slums. Tota kicks him. Xingxie tries to attack Kyrie again, but Tota manages to get him to the ground. He then escapes and appears behind Kyrie with a knife to her neck. Iku appears and defeats him. They all then head to Gate 3. Kyrie tells Tota that Fate is going to take him away to the top of the tower. Karen will come back to try to help, and Karamaru and Iku will fight against him, but they will all get defeated. Fate will also beat Kyrie. Iku says that Kyrie has the power to see the future. Tota almost reveals Kyrie's real secret, which is that she actually dies and goes back. But she stops and tells him that she pretty much told everyone that it's precognition. Kyrie then goes with Karamaru to buy a drink. They sit in front of a coffee shop, and then she gets a phone call about Tota. An explosion happens at the gate. They go to the gate and see Iku, Karen, and Tota fighting against Fate. Fate destroys Iku, seemingly teleports Karen away, and petrifies Tota's body with his head left intact. Karamaru enters the fight, and Fate defeats Karamaru. Fate takes Tota's head with him and appears behind Kyrie. Fate uses a petrification spell on her and almost turns her completely to stone, but she kills herself before that happens. It's revealed that Fate was an ally of Yukihime and sworn friend to Negi. Fate is the strongest active user of Earth magic. They talk about his past exploits. However, when Negi died 30 years ago, his personality and behavior changed dramatically. He became a threat to humanity. Tota suggests just running away, but Kyrie tells him that he'd keep running from him forever. She says that Fate is abnormally fixated on Tota and convinces him not to run away, and he agrees. Kyrie says that their second objective is to capture Fate and take him to their hideout. She then reveals to Iku that she has a secret ability that she hasn't told him about. She then tells everyone that if she can touch him, then they got him. Talking about if she touches Fate, then they got Fate. Kyrie says that Karen is coming back to Earth and that she emailed her about the situation. She then explains the plan. Tota will be a decoy. Iku will mount a diversionary attack. Karamaru will take Kyrie and sneak behind Fate, and Kyrie just has to touch him. Iku asks about how the plan is based upon Kyrie just touching Fate. She then explains her special ability. with reset and restart and whatnot too. Kyrie explains that when she makes these save points, she can choose options for how she goes back. With Bind, she can take someone's mind back with her by touching their hand. With Friend, she can touch someone and physically take them back with her. Memory takes her memory back with her, and Spirit takes her spirit identity back with her. She always has memory and spirit in use with the save point. Kyrie selects the caverns underneath the Yuku Holder hideout to take Fate to. Iku tells Kyrie that he wants her to take all of them back with her, and then he comments that the ceilings are made of glass and to let's use that. So we don't know what that is. Iku tells everyone that they'll attack Fate from space using the secret weapon Yukihime is keeping for Yuki Holder. Tota spots Fate, however, two of his friends from his village are walking towards Tota's direction, just barely behind Fate. Tota contacts Iku and tells them that two of his friends are there and not to shoot. So they see Tota, they tell him he'll just and then Tota tells pretty much the group that they'll just have to wing it. Iku then uses a secret weapon, which is a satellite that Chachamaru used to utilize with her artifact. So it's a satellite from space that shoots the beams. Made by Chao Lingshan, if I'm not mistaken. Right when Iku is about to press the button, his arm gets chopped off and a waitress attacks him. Tota's friends then talk with Tota, and Fate appears behind them and gets all chummy with Tota. Kuramaru comments that Fate is holding Tota's friends hostage. Fate tells Tota that he's afraid of having his friends leave him behind. He tells them that if he wants to be like his grandfather and to have a life that's worth something, then he should come with him. Fate then threatens Tota by telling him that he could kill everyone there. He also tells them to call his peers and to tell them to stand down and drop their weapons. Tota calls Kyrie and suggests that he go with Fate. Tota asks Fate what he thinks of Yukihime. He says that Yukihime deceives people and that Negi died because of her deception. Tota then tells Fate that he doesn't like his attitude, his methods, his face, or him. Tota gets out the gravity blade and he says he's going for broke. He yells terrorist and that he's got a bomb. Fate tries to petrify Tota's friends, but Karen appears behind Fate and attacks his hands that are attached to Tota's friends. Like he's just kind of holding them, I guess. They then get into a scuffle. Kiramaru takes Kyrie with her, and then Kiramaru throws some throwing knives at the waitress attacking Iku. Iku fires a satellite beam. Tota gets his friends out of the way, and the satellite beam shoots at Fate, but he blocks it with a magical barrier. Kiramaru runs towards Fate holding Kyrie, but two new troops get in their way, and Kiramaru then throws Kyrie at Fate. Tota uses a 500-ton gravity blade and pierces through Fate's magical barrier. So Kyrie lands on Fate. Iku and Kiramaru are not with them, but Kyrie decides to go with the plan anyways. But right before she can bite into the poison pill in her mouth, she gets turned into stone. Rapid fire beams from the satellite then attack Fate. So the waitress then attacks Iku and introduces herself as Tsukiyomi Iwai. So, interestingly enough, Tsukiyomi was one of the antagonists in Negima, and member of the Shimei school, and pretty much was arch nemesis with Setsuna and Konoka and Negima. This is a different Tsukiyomi though. And she's apparently a self-taught swordswoman of the Shinmei school and member of the world-saving team Ala Alba. Very interesting. White Wing. Ala Alba was the group that Negi was a part of with his classmates. Karen, holding Kyrie's statue, tells Tota to retreat, but Tota wants to fight Fate. Fate says that it'll take 5 minutes for him to regenerate the shields, and then Tota decides to fight him. A priest who introduces himself as Shaba Gire, a contractor with Ala Alba, gets in Karen's way. Karen ties Kyrie to her own back at a statue. Karamaru fights against a man with many arms and swords and introduces himself as Asura II of Ala'aba. Tota then uses Shundo, but Fate still sees him and throws him. Fate uses a spell on Tota where he launches multiple blades at him, tells Tota that Negi dodged it without any difficulty. He gets sliced by many of the blades, but Tota manages to block and deflect all of them. Fate praises him, but tells him that Negi dodged it better when he was only 10. Tota continues to fight against Fate. Using the 500-ton gravity blade, he manages to cut Fate in the cheek. The others then fight their own battles too. Karen notices numbers showing up on Kyrie's hand, and she tells Tota the time that's left. Tota says that Kyrie hasn't given up. Tota and Fate go to hand-to-hand combat. Fate grabs Tota's face, and Tota uses the 500-ton blade to get on top of Fate. Tota's face and body starts turning to stone. Tota yells, holder numbers assemble. Karen goes to Tota, and Tota grabs Kyrie's hand. The petrification breaks from Kyrie. Fate realizes that she used a petrification cancel app. With Iku and Kuramaru diving in, they teleport back to the hideout with Kyrie at the save point. At the end of the volume, Fate, Tota, Karen, Iku, and Kuramaru are underground, along with Yukihime. And you actually pretty much see Yukihime confront Fate. So some thoughts on Volume 4. Interesting to see Fate, Avarunkus, and Yuki Hoarder. He actually appears to be more powerful this time around. Seemingly a little more mysterious too. It's kind of like, what's he doing there? What's his intention for getting Tota on his side? And just because he seems to be obsessed with Tota. You don't really know what he's doing. What's he doing having a new Ala Alba? Like, is he trying to save the world again in his own twisted way like he tried to do back in the days in Negima? I mean, we don't really know what he's doing there, but he is definitely powerful. The plan, that was one of the coolest things I've seen so far in Yuki Hoarder. I gotta say that this was one of the better battles I've seen in Yuki Hoarder. The past story arcs that they had were just kind of there. I didn't feel that the enemies were as threatening, but this one, I mean, there's a lot at stake. There's a great plan here, a lot of ingenuity involved, They had to execute this plan perfectly, but things just kind of went on the fly, I kind of even would say it's kind of a turning point for Yuki Hoarder and just what, the manga is capable of doing that's a little different from Negima, and how, like, the immortality works and even doesn't work, the limitations of, like, reset and restart. She has to touch him, Fate, in order for this to work. Fate looks like he would have killed him, despite everyone being immortal, It's kind of like, okay, hey, like, Fate can turn him Tota to stone. Okay, he's immortal, but that will stop everyone's immortality, So that was really cool and really creative. Kyrie, big part here, but doesn't seem to like Tota very much, or as she calls him, incompetent. Her powers of reset and restart are very creative, I guess. I don't want to use the same word twice, but it's just a very interesting way of looking at, like, immortality, like a different form of immortality. It's got something of an RPG thing going on with the whole save points and whatnot, and the way that it's used is just, there's a lot of thought into it of how it can be used, and how it has to be executed as well. So it's not like super easy for her to use her abilities in the way that they want them. You know, that Tota and her plan to. Um, and then we're also introduced to the new Ala Alba, led by Fate. Still powerful. All of the members, though, so far, pretty nondescript guys, and guys and girls. You know, it's just they seem like bad guys. You know, they say that they're a world-saving group, but they just kind of seem like a bunch of hired guns. The overall mission of this new Ala Alba is still relatively unknown. So in Volume 5, the volume begins with Evangeline asking Fate if they can talk it out. Fate says he broke his ties with her 30 years ago. They fight each other. Fate uses some big spells on her as she encounters a spell of her own. He uses a powerful sealing spell on her. But Yukihime gets out of the sealing spell and uses the Magi Arebi armament Crystalline Basilia, or Queen of Ice, where she converts an area of several kilometers into her own ice field. Excuse me. They reach a stalemate. Both of them have multiple magical weapons pointed at them. Fate says that he withdraws, and then he says that he will allow the four of them to question him in exchange for a safe release from the cave. Iku asks why he is so desperate to get Tota and what he is trying to use him for. Fate answers that he wants to rescue Negi Springfield, and to do that, he needs Tota's help. Fate reveals that Negi Springfield is alive. Rescuing Negi would mean saving everyone in the solar system, all 12 billion souls. With the information, Iku assumes that Negi is sealed somewhere. Tota is key to freeing him. Also, they should not take saving the world literally. Karen asks Negi Springfield, who loved him most, you or Yukihime? Fate tells them that Yukihime's object of affection was for Nagi. He avoids commenting on Negi and Yukihime's relationship, and he's not particularly interested in who loved him most. Fate says that he himself does not love. Kirimaru asks if all of this is urgent, and if there is a time limit. Fate says that it's a good question, and that the situation is not urgent. Tota asks Fate if he's the one who killed his parents. Fate admits that he did. Tota then tells Fate that he has to settle the score. Fate tells Tota that once he's improved, that he'll be waiting for him at the top of the tower. Fate then escapes. The next day, you see Tota training. He asks Yukihime to coach him. Yukihime tells him that if it's strength that he wants, the most powerful member besides her is Juzo. We have not seen Juzo yet, but someone that seems to be referred to. Excuse me. She also reveals that they're just a Japanese branch of Yuku Holder and that there are others. She presents Tota with another job, an investigation of a dangerous immortal. So Yukihime at her office tells Kurimaru. So they're like the next scene. They're at their Yukihime's office with Kurimaru, Karen, and Tota, and Yukihime tells them that they have to go undercover at the Academy City. Their target, Immortal, is hiding out at a boarding school, and the three will infiltrate the school as students. The job is to find the Immortal, scout them into their organization if possible, or dispose of them as quickly as possible if that fails. They're then told to ask Karen for the details. Some shenanigans happen, with Kirimaru dressing up in a girl's uniform and whatnot. You see Iku in a 13-year-old body asking to come with them, and they agree. Tota and Kirimaru get to the school and are surprised by how big it is and how many students are there. From a rooftop, a hooded person looks down at the students. Tota and Kirimaru get into the new class, play basketball, and get used to school life. At school, they sit with Karen and Iku. Karen reveals that she attended the school for an undercover mission but never solved the case, and also tells them that Yukihime attended the school as well. So if that is the truth, then this is Mahora Academy, now called Academy City. This case is the same case that Karen was a part of. She also reveals that in the last case there was a series of murders most likely committed by an immortal. The death tally rose to 12, and she was undercover alone, but she couldn't find a killer. There were several points about the deaths that didn't add up, and the police were at a loss. Iku reveals that there are 2 deaths already, most likely by the same murderer. 2 students approach them, calling them second-rate students. Apparently, the Stairway Terrace is reserved for first-rate students. That's where they're sitting right now. One of them, Miguel, mentions that they are non-wielders. Tota gets mad. Karamaru tells Tota that they're talking about magic as far as being non-wielders are concerned. So Tota and Miguel get in a duel and Tota wins. The person in the hood is watching and they all escape once the school watch gets to them. They go to the scene of the first murder, which happened 4 days ago, and it was apparently a jumper. They find that there's nowhere to jump from that area, and the places that the victim would have been able to jump was either protected or secured. They go to the next crime scene, which is a bathroom. Iku shows the image of the crime scene from the time of the murder, and they see someone dead stuck into the concrete wall. Tota and Kuramaru head to their dorms. A hooded person watches the four through a camera. Then he recognizes Karen as someone that the hooded person chased off last time. And this person uses a computer and knows where the Yuku Holder hideout is. He also does research on the four. So, Tota and Kuramaru get their keys to room 401 in the 4th floor. It's the same room that the hooded person is in, but he takes off his hood. And Tota and Kuramaru enter the room and introduce themselves. The roommate concludes that they don't know that he's their target, and he introduces himself as Santa Sasaki. At night, Santa, wearing a hooded tracksuit, jumps from rooftop to rooftop, sees a group of students using magic to attack a homeless man. Santa then beats up the students. He attaches one of the bully's arms to the ground and tells him that he's an immortal scion. Tota appears with a gravity blade and strikes at Santa but misses. Santa flies away. He's still hooded too, by the way, so they really can't see his face. Kuramaru sees him and tells him to stop, but Santa just goes right through him. Iku, Tota, and Kuramaru chase after him. Tota and Kuramaru fight against Santa, once again not able to see his face, but he shows powers of intangibility and telekinesis. Iku snipes at him, but that bullet that he shoots him with just goes through Santa. Santa uses human assimilation to possess Kuramaru. He then attacks Tota and Iku while possessing Kuramaru. Santa releases Kuramaru and then runs away. So, they're now in front of a coffee shop. Karen tells everyone about unique skills. They're very rare and there's little information about them. There are only a few of those who can use unique skills on Earth, and more than 20 in the entire solar system. Iku explains that the target has 4 unique abilities: intangibility, telekinesis, flight, and possession. As they talk about the target, Santa is listening in on them. Kuramaru thinks about the target's psionic powers and feels that something is off. Tota and Kuramaru go back to the dorm, and they pretty much sleep together with Santa, who is pretty much very annoyed with Tota. Flashback is shown of Santa getting bullied. The bullies put a sock in his mouth. He then wakes up with Tota's foot in his mouth. They eat breakfast and Tota and Kuramaru head to class. Santa doesn't want to go and tells them that nothing good comes of having friends. Santa reveals that he makes money with internet games. Tota is really into it and decides to skip school. Tota, Santa, and Kuramaru hang out and have fun. They run away from the disciplinary committee. Once they're out of the committee's sight, Santa says that there's nothing fun about having friends. The students all need to learn a lesson, and he'll never be friends with Tota. A girl in an alley then talks to Kuramaru. She tells Kuramaru that Santa is already dead. The girl and Kuramaru go to Santa's grave, and he died when he was 12. It's strongly suggested that it was suicide due to constant bullying. Kuramaru deduces that Santa is an Onryo, a wraith or a revenant. Kuramaru can't believe that Santa would do such terrible things, though. Excuse me. The girl tells Kuramaru to be Santa's friend and runs off. Back at the dorm, Kuramaru touches Santa's hand and discovers that he's a revenant. Kuramaru then gets a call that another murder just happened, and Tota and Santa overhear the conversation. Tota reveals to Santa that they're on a mission to investigate the murders, and Santa wants to come along with them. So they go to the crime scene. The victims show signs of falling from a considerable height, but they are in an open field. Kuramaru comments that Santa is reacting like an innocent child to this crime scene. The three um, then wake up, and well, it's the next day. The three wake up. Tota receives a phone call that another murder just happened. Kuramaru reveals to Iku and Karen that Santa is a revenant. As Karen walks through the halls, students talk about Sayoko's curse. Karen then sits in the toilet in one of the bathrooms, and the girl from earlier that was talking to Kuramaru shows up, but she looks like, I guess the only word to really call it is demented. Karen says that she's a wraith and gets attacked. We're told that the wraith is Sayoko. Sayoko defeats Karen and strongly hints that she's going to bury her. Tota and Santa go to a graveyard to meet with someone. Kuramaru and Iku appear, and Kuramaru tells Tota that Santa is dangerous. Kuramaru also tells Tota that he can't get a hold of Karen. Santa reveals that he's an enemy and attacks Tota, and Kuramaru reveals to Tota that Santa is dead. Sayoko watches what is transpiring, but Santa can't believe that he's dead. Tota gets between Santa and Iku and tells Santa to run away, believing that Santa didn't commit those murders. Three huge robotic hands from Iku appear to try and stop Tota, but Tota uses Magia Arabia to counter them. Tota then stops Kuramaru from pursuing Santa, and then Sayoko meets up with Santa. Kuramaru wonders if Sayoko is the mastermind. Sayoko tells Santa that she's run out of time, and admits to causing those incidents and to manipulating the dorm manager to get Tota and Kuramaru into his room. Sayoko admits to Santa that he is dead and that he died 8 years ago. She tells him that she's a necromancer that kept his spirit in this plane. Sayoko then leaves. At the end of the volume, Kyrie is shown at school, and she says that she smells blood and needs to hurry. So, some thoughts on Volume 5. We started out with Fate and those questions. Questions revealed a good amount of stuff. Apparently, he killed Tota's parents. But he also wants Tota for help to rescue Negi Springfield. Once again, well, it reveals some questions, though. Why did he kill Tota's parents? What's so special about Tota? I mean, yeah, he's Negi's grandchild and has Magia Arabia. So we get an idea of what, that he is obviously special. But, is there more to him or not? It's also interesting that Negi Springfield is indeed alive. At the very beginning of Yuki Order, we actually saw Tota at Negi Springfield's grave. What this all means, though, is pretty unknown. We do know, apparently, according to Fate, Negi needs rescuing. Also, it does have something to do, according to Fate, with this whole solar system. I think that we can expect to see Negi Springfield in the future. I mean, they keep referencing him. We now know he's alive, and he's out there somewhere. He's also the grandfather of Tota. So, there's got to have some sort of meaning. What he's doing right now, and where he is, his whereabouts, all unknown at this moment. So now we're into the newest story arc. It looks like it involves Santa and Sayoko. I like the Santa character. His backstory is pretty sad. he's a victim of bullying, and we can kind of understand his whole disdain for people. I mean, he was bullied, quite badly to the point where it looks like he felt that he had to commit suicide. Um, so, he comes off quite sympathetic, and him being so distant and aloof with like Tota and everyone else is pretty understandable. Despite that, I mean, he's not mean per se. I mean, he seems like a recluse. I guess the closest thing character to Santa in a sense would be Chisame from Negima. Just being that recluse type character. But obviously Santa's a lot different personality and whatnot. It looks like Sayoko is the true mastermind here. Um, we don't really know too much about Sayoko except that she was friends with Santa. She's a wraith, and I guess we'll have to know a little bit more about her. And this whole thing, this whole mission, this whole investigation, definitely a different approach to how the manga has been going so far. Right now we got something more of this crime drama feel to it. Oh, there's a crime scene here. Let's go check it out. Oh, these guys died this way. But, oh, hey, that isn't possible. This doesn't make sense. There's some level of misdirection going on and whatnot. So, they definitely took this story arc and, it's there's action, but they're trying to add other elements to like the manga, making it more like crime drama ish. So on to volume 6. The volume begins with Sayoko talking to Santa, telling him about necromancy. Sayoko says that she will take them with her, and she means everyone in the world. She says that you have to do something that they won't even notice, and then leaves. Toto, Karamaru, and Iku find Santa. Toto says that they won't hurt him, though. Yeah. Around town, random people are becoming zombies and attacking people. Tota, Karamaru, and Iku fight off the zombies, but they appear to be infinite. They then retreat to higher ground. Their telepathy line is jammed. Karamaru reveals that there is no reviving the zombies once they're back to normal. Santa pleads with Tota to help. Kyrie appears and tells them that she made a save point right before she got to the school. Sayoko appears behind Kyrie and bites her on the neck. Tota tries to fight Sayoko, but it's revealed that she has the same power as Santa. She then uses Grandmaster class magic on them. Kiramaru uses a Shinmei school technique on Sayoko and rescues Kyrie. Kyrie then bites Kiramaru, and Sayoko captures Kiramaru. Tota uses Magia Rabi on and then fights against Sayoko to free Kiramaru. Tota and Kiramaru then try to attack Sayoko, but Sayoko reveals that she made a special strain of the zombie virus for immortals. Kiramaru then stabs Tota through the body. Sayoko tries to infect Tota, but the miasma won't affect him. Sayoko then rips Iku in half. She then says goodbye to Santa and leaves. So, we see this one student, Shinji Inagaki, who was pretty much leading the students who's attacking the homeless man. He appears behind Santa while a bunch of zombies chase after him. He pleads with Santa to help him, but Santa leaves him behind. Before Shinji gets attacked by the zombies, Santa rescues him, and then Shinji then follows Santa. Santa gets a radio signal with news that outbreaks are happening all across the world. Santa decides to stop Sayoko. It's revealed that Tota is infected with a unique soul-eating virus, and that his regenerative powers have greatly diminished. Magia Arabia has failed to activate. A flashback is shown with a beat-up Santa running into Sayoko, who's crying in an old bathroom stall in the Forbidden Boys bathroom. Sayoko is referred to by other students as Restroom Sayoko. Santa was just there to eat his lunch, and then they have lunch together. They're then shown cleaning the bathroom. Santa tells Sayoko that he taught himself magic, and his mother paid for him to get into that school. However, his mother died. He gets bullied for being too poor. Sayoko suggests going to a teacher or the police. Later, we see Santa coming back to the bathroom, and he's all beat up again. He tells her that one of the students that picks on him is the son of one of the board officers and has connections with the police. He then tells Sayoko that he won't come to see her anymore. They then show the scene where Santa died, with Sayoko saying that they can't let it end this way. Back in the present, Santa and Shinji see people on the bridge fighting for their lives against zombies who have surrounded them. Santa goes to the bridge and helps them. A flashback is shown with Sayoko and Santa on a field of flowers. She tells him that he's a ghost now, and they fly to the top of a blimp. He tells her that they can now be together forever. Back on the bridge, Santa brings the ship to one side of the bridge and multiple buses to block the other side. Santa then flies to where Sayoko is. That's to block off the zombies. Back with Tota, Karen is with him as Tota wakes up. Karen tells him that Sayoko is an Onryo, a vengeful spirit, and a god-class spirit. Karen reveals that life hasn't been easy for many people in this area, and that suicides alone account for 3,000 deaths this year. Sayoko made herself a receptacle for all those souls. Sayoko fires magic at Santa, as Santa doesn't believe that she recognizes him. Santa manages to get a hold of Sayoko and tells her to stop, and she goes back to normal. He then admits that he just wanted to be with her, and that's all he needed. So a bunch of skeletons are shown around Sayoko. She says that she let them in and wanted power and revenge. She then goes crazy and attacks Santa, claiming that he abandoned her. She then becomes this kind of an Akira-style organic blob thing and covers the whole blimp. By the way, that blimp seems like it's the same blimp from Negima, where Negi fought Qiao Lingshan. Can't say for sure, but I think it's the same blimp. Karamaru then attacks Santa. Tota appears along with Shinji on a broom, and Tota defends a blow from Karamaru that was directed at Santa. So Tota and Karamaru fight, and Tota tells Santa to go after Sayoko. Shinji admits to being trash, but Santa thanks him for helping. Santa flies into the center of the blob to where Sayoko is, as she appears to be asleep. A flashback is shown with both of them on top of the blimp. Sayoko reveals that he was murdered, and that he didn't commit suicide. He just doesn't remember that time. She tells him that they are going to pay. Santa asks what those things are that are dangling behind Sayoko. Her face is then covered in blood, as there are various screams for help, so they seem to be people. Santa retreats. This is still in the flashback, by the way. Santa retreats and runs to a bathroom stall. Sayoko pleads with him. Santa says, "Just erase me." Sayoko tells him that she has 8 years left. She then says that if she has to lose him, then she'd rather change his memories. Back in the present, Santa manages to reach Sayoko, and they pretty much hug. Or he hugs her at least. He then says that he'll die with her and that they'll take a tour to hell together. Tota and Karamaru fight. In mid-fight, Karamaru returns to normal. Santa is then seen holding Sayoko as she disappears into cherry blossoms. Santa grabs a couple of them. Tota convinces everyone to take them back with them. Back to the save point. They then go back to before everything happened. Sayoko appears. She tells them that she sells 340,000 raging spirits tied to her. She acts like she's going to attack them, but tells them that she's just kidding and admits defeat. Sayoko then says goodbye to Santa. Santa says that he wants to go with her. Sayoko tells him that he can trust Toto Kanoe. Santa admits that he still likes her, and Sayoko admits that She loved him. Or sorry, that Santa at this time. She loved Santa, obviously. Sayaka then appears. Tota tells Santa that he could come with them. So we're shown Tota and Santa at Sayaka's grave. Santa agrees to join UQ Holder. Tota tells him that he's a member of UQ Holder's numbers, number 12. Kuramaru and Karen are stuck writing reports of the incident. They then meet up with Kirei, Iku, and Santa. They all go to a bathhouse. Kuramaru is a bit uncomfortable. Iku mentions to Kuramaru that he looks at Tota too much. Kirei invades the men's side of the bath, claiming to do it for the maiden Kuramaru. She then tells Santa to catch her, but she phases through him. Kirei then she fights Santa, not a serious fight though, and she manages to grab him and kicks Iku. Karen then goes to the men's side of the bath. Tota tells Kuramaru that he's counting on him and calls him a partner. They all walk outside the bath, and Shinji and his friends bump into Santa. Shinji gives Santa attitude for bumping into him. So you kind of see the six of them walking together and talking about frivolous things. The next morning, Tota is shown training with the gravity blade at the World Tree Plaza. Iku sees Tota and Tota asks him for advice. So, at the end of the volume, Mana Tatsumiya appears and tells Tota that she's an old friend of his grandfather's. So, some thoughts on Volume 6. Zombie apocalypse here, man. Just absolutely crazy. Something straight out of a horror movie. One thing I'll say about this, though, things really did seem pretty bad. It was dire, I mean, Kiramaru was getting possessed. Karen was buried. Iku was split in half. Tota was out of commission. The only one that can save him was Santa. Santa and Sayoko, man, what a sad yet sweet relationship, The stakes of everything seem just a little more grave knowing their backstory together. It's Santa had to make this choice to fight against the only person who was with him when he was being bullied. He even saved the guy that bullied him. He didn't want to be a hero, but was just put into this position to do so, and pretty much had to fight the one person that seemingly understood and was also bullied as well. So it was pretty sad, and it's someone that he seemed to have liked, and she seemed to have loved him too. So that was pretty sad, Some of the things Santa was saying to just erase me. I mean, that was just wow. That is just, he was really badly off as everything was happening. Sayoko saying that they have to pay, and in a sense, you don't even feel that they're bad guys in a sense. I mean, yeah, they're doing things out of vengeance, but it's the stuff that was happening to them, Sayoko and Santa, was just so unfair that it's kind of hard to blame him for blame Sayoko for what she did in a sense. I mean, in a sense, obviously. Very interesting though that this was there's a little more I guess political statements that the creators are saying in Yuki Hoarder. We kind of saw that with the slum kids in previous volume, or with the slums in previous volumes and whatnot, and now there's the issue of bullying in this volume. So I don't know if it's by design, if there's some sort of deeper message about anti-bullying that was trying to be portrayed here, which was there, if the creator meant to do that on purpose, or if that was just kind of one of the, things that just happened to correspond with this storyline. And finally, we saw Mana Tatsumiya come back. Tatsumiya come back. She looks the same, you know. Kind of wonder if she's going to fight. If she fights, is she so crazy with the guns? I'd assume yes. We don't really know what she's doing there, and what, if anything, does she want with Tota? You know, she's kind of there. Granted, it is Academy City. It's Mahora Academy, which is our old stomping grounds and whatnot, or old school. So, for all we know, she could just be there to visit, and she just saw him, or it could be something else. You know, I guess we'll find out. So that's all for today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel if you're on YouTube, or follow, share, and comment on this channel if you're listening to this on SoundCloud. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, please rate, review, and share this channel. Thank you for listening to these manga reviews. Next week, I will review UQ Holder Volumes 7 to 9, and also read pages 4 to 6 of my fantasy short story, The Frog of the Crown. Thank you, and until next time.